A promise is a promise. After the incredible support the ultimate analysis of the Walten Files received, I knew I absolutely had to do this. So, here it is. Today, we're diving deep into the non-canon episodes of this amazing series: Boozoo's Ghost, The Mysterious House, and The Return of the Pumpkin Rabbit. While these stories aren't part of the main storyline of the Walten Files, they share the same eerie aesthetic and much of the unsettling horror that defines the original series. Plus, they feature a few interesting cameos from familiar characters and well-known locations. Anyway, let's not drag this out any longer. Before we begin, I want to take a moment to thank everyone who responded to the pinned comment in the last video and for the incredible support you always give me. Remember, if you'd like to be featured in the next video, make sure to reply to the pinned comment where you'll find this question. Who do you think is more dangerous, Bon or the Pumpkin Rabbit? Without further ado, don't forget to leave your precious like and subscribe to help the channel grow and reach more people. Every like is one more coin to escape poverty. If you're unsure what to comment, just type meow in the comments section and I'll give you a heart in return. Comments are incredibly important and help the video a lot, so don't forget to leave yours. Welcome to the ultimate analysis of the non-canon episodes of the Walten Files. What if Charles Dickens' classic A Christmas Carol were reimagined as a dark horror short film? For those unfamiliar, though I'd be surprised, A Christmas Carol is a novella published in 1843 by Charles Dickens. It tells the story of Ebenezer Scrooge, a cold, greedy, and lonely man who despises Christmas and everything it represents. The plot follows Scrooge as he is visited on Christmas Eve by four ghosts. The ghost of his former business partner, Jacob Marley, who warns him that he's doomed by his own greed, but still has a chance to change. The ghost of Christmas Past, who shows him his childhood and youth, revealing how he gradually lost his sensitivity and became bitter. The ghost of Christmas Present, who shows how others celebrate the holiday with love and generosity, even while living in poverty. And finally, the ghost of Christmas Yet to Come, who reveals the dark fate that awaits Scrooge if he doesn't change: death and eternal oblivion. Shaken by what he sees, Scrooge undergoes a deep transformation. When he wakes up on Christmas morning, he becomes a kind, generous, and joyful man who helps others and embraces the holiday spirit. Boozoo's Ghosts is a Christmas special released by Martin Walls on December 31st, 2020. This short presents a much darker take on the tale and a grim warning of what can happen when greed takes over our lives. It all begins with Boozoo, a bitter old man who owns a toy store and doesn't believe in Christmas. We see him scolding his employee, Banny, after she accidentally breaks a mug while cleaning. Then, in a particularly cruel move, especially considering the time of year, he tells her the mug's cost will be deducted from a salary he doesn't even pay. Banny pleads with him, desperately trying to reason with him. It's Christmas Eve and she needs to feed her family. But Boozoo refuses. He doesn't care. Christmas means nothing to him. Suddenly, someone knocks on the door. It's Heidi, a raccoon asking for donations for the poor. But Boozoo, with no shame at all, steals the money from Heidi's donation cup and slams the door in his face. This is the man we'll be following for the rest of this twisted little tale. Selfish, greedy, and completely disconnected from the consequences of his actions. That night, Boozoo goes to sleep, but not for long. A loud noise wakes him up. He gets up to investigate and discovers three presents under a Christmas tree that wasn't there before, along with strange faces drawn on his furniture. And here's where it becomes painfully obvious. His greed runs so deep that, even though he hates Christmas and never celebrates it, he still eagerly accepts the gifts. After all.
Oh well, a present is a present.
Still suspicious, Boozoo carefully opens one of the presents. Inside, he finds a strange clown doll. Instantly, the world around him darkens, and the first ghost appears. The sad ghost of past experiences confronts Boozoo, calling out his heartless, selfish behavior. The ghost sings to him, speaks to him, tries to make him reflect on his actions, but Boozoo doesn't get it. He denies everything, acts as if he's never done anything wrong. He's completely blind to the harm he's caused. This enrages the ghost, who then transforms into a towering, distorted version of himself and warns Boozoo. And just like that, Boozoo wakes up, convinced it was only a nightmare. But the night is far from over. A door appears, marked with the face of the jolly ghost of present times. When he opens it, Boozoo finds several items from his toy shop, but now they look far more sinister than he remembers. Eventually, he finds a doll of himself. The ghost picks it up and shows Boozoo, without sugarcoating it, the consequences of his behavior. His greed is not only consuming him, it's already destroying the lives of those around him. Using a small toy TV, she shows Boozoo that Banny is home, hungry and without food for her siblings, suffering on Christmas Eve. Boozoo tries to apologize in his own way. He never meant for things to go that far, but the ghost makes it clear. It's too late. It's already happened. He's wasted most of his life. Then, several gifts begin to surround him, each one speaking phrases that reflect his ignorance and selfishness. Boozoo begs them to stop, screaming in desperation. Eventually, the gifts melt into a puddle, and the ghost vanishes. Wandering aimlessly through the darkness, Boozoo finally finds one last toy. When he touches it, the third and final spirit appears. Mortality, the personification of death. Mortality tells him plainly, his time is up. He's come to take Boozoo's life. Boozoo breaks down in tears, begging for mercy. But this is not A Christmas Carol. There are no second chances. There is no redemption for Boozoo. These ghosts aren't here to save him. They're here to punish him. The ghosts are sadistic, and they want him dead. It doesn't matter what he says, how much he pleads, or how many tears he sheds. His fate was sealed the moment he closed his eyes to sleep under warm blankets, while others went cold and hungry because of him. Mortality leads him to a door with his rabbit-faced reflection. Inside, Boozoo is tricked into a false reality where everything seems normal again, until it all shatters.
Oh, thank God. Everything's back to normal. Oh, everything is okay now. Oh, Benny! Oh, you don't know how glad I am to see you. Benny?
Oh, hey, boss. I was wondering where you were. It's good to see you're okay.
Benny? 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 What's going on? Kid! Oh God! Child, you need to help me! Please! I need to... What? What does this mean? go. Hello? Is anyone here? Hello? Little kid, run! Get away from here!
Would you look at that? A child. And not just any child. It's you!
Boozoo is found dead in his bed. The cause of death is unknown. His body is so grotesque, so disturbing, it had to be censored with a black box. The narrator ends with a warning to the viewer. Be kind to others. Respect Christmas, or you might end up like the man on your screen. In 2020, the Walten Files universe briefly strayed from its official canon for the first time to explore a dark and unsettling story, one that would even go on to receive a sequel. I'm talking about The Mysterious House, a Halloween special that blends the innocent excitement of children on the night of October 31st with the most sinister horrors that can emerge from knocking on the wrong door. The story begins with Ducky and Tammy, two kids frustrated by the small amount of candy they've collected throughout the night. Tammy blames Ducky for wearing a ridiculous costume. Ducky fires back, saying the real issue is that Tammy isn't wearing one at all. Still, he decides to de-escalate the situation, pointing out that there's plenty of time left to score some decent candy. They just need to find the right house. Suddenly, the scene cuts to a missing poster featuring a small bear dressed as a pumpkin. Johnny Bear. Last seen on October 31st, 1978. Later on, we find Ducky and Tammy in a forest, happy with their new stash of candy. But it's getting late, and Ducky suggests they head home. The cat refuses. This adventure isn't over yet. There are still plenty of houses they haven't visited, unless, of course, he's too scared. Yeah, I know. It's weird. I always thought Tammy was supposed to be a wolf or something, but according to the wiki, she's actually a cat. So let's go with that. Tammy's taunt works, and Ducky takes the bait. He agrees to keep trick-or-treating just a little longer. That's when Tammy makes the biggest mistake of her short life. She suggests they visit the creepiest house of them all. Ducky agrees, but only on one condition. This will be the last one. And it was. When they arrive, they're greeted by a strange figure known as the Witch Sheep, who invites them inside with the promise of tons of candy. She introduces them to her friends, Billy, TVA, and a mysterious rabbit named the Pumpkin Rabbit, her husband, who hands them candy while speaking in a deep, unsettling voice. TVA takes a photo of the kids as the Pumpkin Rabbit shows them a series of pictures featuring other children who visited the house on Halloween's past. But in the last photo, we spot the same little bear from the missing poster, Johnny Bear. It doesn't take a genius to figure out what's in store for Ducky and Tammy. The pattern is clear, but they don't see it yet. Even so, they do seem a little uneasy when the couple, Rachel and Lorenzo Waterman, insist they spend the night in their home. After a brief moment of hesitation, they accept. It's late, and the streets can be dangerous at this hour. What they don't know is that the greatest danger is already inside, closing in around them. That night, the two children sleep in sleeping bags on the floor. Ducky wakes up first. We don't know why, but what we do know is this. He leaves and never comes back. Sometime later, Tammy wakes up after hearing her name whispered from the distance. It's Ducky, or at least it sounds like him. Her instincts scream that something's wrong, but she can't leave her friend behind. So she sets off to find him. As she steps out of the room, she encounters Billy, a motionless figure silently watching her from a corner of the hallway. Tammy is terrified, but keeps moving, unaware that the witch sheep is now silently stalking her. After wandering through several corridors, she finally finds Ducky, or so she thinks. As she steps into the room, the door slams shut behind her, and then she sees it. Ducky's mangled body lies before her. But worse than that, piles of children's corpses surround him, all with familiar faces, the same ones from the photos. Their bodies stored like trophies, rotting and decaying over the years. The horror is real, and she's next.
Ducky, come on, dude. This isn't funny. Ducky?
I will sing a song, and it won't be very long, by the maiden sea, and she never would do wrong. Everyone said she was pretty, she was not long in the city, all alone, oh what a pity, poor little maid. She never saw the streets of silence, and the Midwest she had never strayed.
What are you doing here?
What have you done?
What a naughty child, wandering around the house. I will have to punish you for being such a misbehaved little bunny. Don't worry, you won't feel a thing, and you'll get to be with us. Wouldn't you like that, little girl?
Get away from me!
It was just another Halloween night in the lovely town of Nash Lake, when a group of brave young children decided to walk into an abandoned house at the top of the Nash Lake Hill. What they didn't know is what awaited for them there was far far more terrifying than anything they could have expected.
We've finally made it to the end, to the best piece in terms of direction, artistic style, and animation in all of the Walten Files so far. The Return of the Pumpkin Rabbit. The story begins on Halloween night, 1983, 4 years after the disappearance of Ducky and Tammy, when a group of kids, Jay, Dino, Ralph, and Paco, hike up the hill leading to the mysterious house, now in a state of even more obvious abandonment. From the very start, Ralph is visibly scared. He's holding a red ball and, clearly nervous, begs the others to leave, saying they've come close enough. It all seems to be part of some kind of dare among friends. Jay, completely fascinated by the house, ignores Ralph's warnings and begins telling the tale of this place, known as the Waterman House. According to her, it was abandoned after a tragic Halloween night in 1979. Every year, on All Hallows' Eve, the Waterman's house would light up on top of the hill and welcome the town's children. And every year, without fail, some of those children would vanish. Still, hardly anyone ever suspected the Waterman couple, until one day, the sister of Tammy, one of the many missing kids, witnessed her entering the house and never coming back out. The police couldn't do anything about it, as no bodies were ever found. This enraged the town, and the people decided to take justice into their own hands. The house has remained empty ever since, but legend says that you can still hear the screams of the children echoing through its halls, along with the laughter of their killers. Understandably, Ralph's fear only grows stronger, and he flat out refuses to go inside. But Jay, Paco, and Dino step through the doorway, leaving their friend alone and vulnerable outside. Inside, the decay is immediately apparent. Paco comments on how awful everything smells, while Jay lights an old carved pumpkin sitting in the living room using a lighter. The moment she does, a TV in the next room switches on. Waiting for them there is the witch sheep, now far more disturbing than before, watching them and signaling for them to come closer. Wait a second, weren't she and the pumpkin rabbit supposed to have burned to death? They were, but it seems both have returned as paranormal entities. The three kids, clearly uneasy but still compliant, approach and apologize, trying to back away. But the witch tries to charm them like she did with so many other victims, telling them they're her first visitors of the night, that the place has been awfully lonely for a long time, and that they must be tired after climbing the hill. She encourages them to head to the kitchen and grab some candy. Her husband will be home soon, and he'll be hungry too. All the while, Dino secretly snatches a photo album from the couch without the witch noticing. Why? Who knows? But this seemingly minor act will end up determining the fate of our protagonists. Jay and Paco leave the room. As for Dino, well, we won't hear from him again for a while. Meanwhile, Paco quietly drifts away from Jay without her noticing, drawn by a strange figure, watching him and beckoning him to follow. The spirit of Ducky. Ralph is still outside, frustrated, terrified, and in a burst of anger, he throws his ball too far, forcing himself to chase after it toward the back of the Waterman house. But back there, he doesn't find the ball. Instead, he finds the pumpkin rabbit, holding it in his hands. Paralyzed by fear, Ralph tries to back away without retrieving the ball, only to come face to face with something even more horrifying. Tammy's decapitated body, now turned into a grotesque scarecrow. That's when the pumpkin rabbit starts chasing him relentlessly. Ralph runs as fast as his little legs will carry him, but there's nothing he can do to escape. There's no way out.
Stupid friends. Oh, let's go into the old murder house. Let's spend all Halloween night climbing the town hill. Ugh, screw them! Oh! Oh no, no, no!
you lost? I think I have something you're looking for. Isn't this yours?
Yes. Yes, it is. Can I have it back, please?
Of course. Here.
I'm sorry. I'll get out of here.
Wait. Don't you want your ball back? You came here just for it. Remember?
Inside the house, Jay is alone and terrified in the kitchen, suddenly realizing that Paco has gotten separated from her. At that very moment, she hears Ralph's screams through a nearby window. From the instant they encountered the witch sheep, she had felt something was wrong, but now it's undeniable. This night will be burned into her memory forever. Hearing Ralph's blood-curdling cries, Jay hides inside a cupboard, but in her rush, she knocks over a bowl of candy, which crashes to the floor and shatters, giving away her location. Meanwhile, Paco continues following Ducky, who silently leads him through the hallways of the house. Along the way, he notices several framed portraits of missing children. Eventually, they arrive at what appears to be an exit, but it's not. It's just another room, the same room where Tammy and Ducky once spent the night. Without warning, Ducky locks him inside the dark room. Waiting there is the witch sheep, who begins singing a deeply unsettling version of Hush, Little Baby. Paco's fate is sealed off screen, his death left to our imagination, implied in a way that's even more chilling. But why would Ducky do something like this? Well, it's not entirely clear. As we'll see later on, it appears that the photographs taken of the Waterman's victims act as a sort of spiritual prison, preventing their souls from seeking revenge and instead forcing them to serve their tormentors. This would explain not just Ducky's behavior, but also Billy's and TVA's in the mysterious house, though that's a bit ahead of where we are now. The whole idea ties back to an old superstition that having your picture taken could steal your soul. Still hiding in the cupboard, Jay quietly weeps. All she wants is for this nightmare to end. Then Ralph appears, or rather, what's left of him. He calmly tells her it's safe to come out, but when Jay opens the door, she realizes it's not her friend. It's the pumpkin rabbit. He could have killed her instantly, but instead, he prefers to torment his victims, toying with them for as long as possible before finally striking. In a panic, Jay tries to flee, but it's no use. In just a few seconds, the psychotic rabbit catches up to her. Still, Jay fights back. She grabs a mug and smashes it against his face, a lucky strike that nearly knocks off his mask. A lucky moment, and her one chance to escape. She runs through a random door without thinking, and behind it she finds Dino. The two of them tumble down a staircase and crash into the basement. Jay switches on the light, still in shock, and asks Dino if it's really him. He nods and explains that he's been hiding down there ever since he stole the photo album from the witch sheep's couch. Curious, the puppy decides to inspect it and stares in horror at the images of all the past victims. The last photo they find is dated October 31st, 1983. It's them, Jay, Dino, Ralph, and Paco, standing right in front of the Waterman house. But there's no time to lose. That sadistic couple is right behind them, and they need to find another way out. Fast. Looking up, they're met with a disturbing sight. A massive clown head with a metal door where the mouth should be. When they open it, they find themselves in the same hallway Tammy once walked down years ago. In the distance, a distorted version of When the Saints Go Marching In begins to play from a dusty record player, adding an even more sinister tone to the scene. Jay makes sure to shut the metal door behind them to keep themselves safe, but they've made a crucial mistake. They left the basement door wide open, revealing exactly where they are. As they move through the hallway, Jay and Dino come across the remains of TVA, lying in front of the record player that's still playing the haunting tune. Jay tries to open the second and third doors, but they're both locked. Only the first one opens. Inside, they find Billy's corpse, bound and hanging like a scarecrow. On the floor, they spot a photograph, a picture of Billy and TVA as children, with Lorenzo, the pumpkin rabbit, smiling behind them. The date reads October 31st, 1974. This reveals that what we saw in the mysterious house were their spirits, controlled by the Watermans for their own gain. And more than that, it strongly suggests that Billy and TVA were the very first children ever murdered. Jay approaches the body and, using her lighter, finds a small key inside Billy's mouth. She grabs it, assuming it will unlock the other doors. But when they leave the room, their worst fear becomes real. The metal door has been opened. There's no doubt now. They've been found. Luckily, they react just in time and manage to reach and unlock the third door. Inside, they discover a small chance at escape, but they have to hurry. Time is running out, and their pursuers are already here. Jay desperately tries to open the window, but quickly realizes it's sealed shut. She stumbles backward and hits a hanging light bulb, which swings and flickers on, illuminating the room, and what they see is horrifying. A blood-stained chamber filled with gray mannequins wearing random pieces of costumes that once belonged to the Waterman's past victims. The walls are plastered with missing child posters, rusty tools, masks, crayon drawings, and a rainbow with the words, "The End," written in bold letters. Jay and Dino stare in terror. At what exact point did they think it was a good idea to enter this house of horrors? That question doesn't matter anymore. What's done is done. Suddenly, the snout of the witch sheep appears in the doorway, and the lights go out.
Mr. and Mrs. Mrs. Waterman were very, very, very bad people. Oh, you're in trouble now. Playtime is over, children. This year's hunt has been so delightful. It's so much fun when they hide. But now I seek. And oh, when I find you, little bunnies, I will rip, and I will cut, and I will punish you.
What did you do to him? Give me back the book, little one. You want it?
Please, give it to me.
No, what have you done?
Jay quickly grabs the photo album while the pumpkin rabbit, now exposed from Jay's earlier attack, covers his face. In a strangely polite but noticeably anxious tone, he asks her to return the book, slowly stepping toward her. He's clearly afraid of what she might do with it. Jay locks eyes with him, and in a final act of defiance, she sets the album on fire using her lighter. What she didn't know was that this one decision would save her life. Lorenzo and Rachel Waterman react with absolute terror. They both begin screaming in desperation. In that moment, the reanimated bodies of their victims start to rise from the shadows, slowly approaching with a clear purpose. They surround them, they devour them, and as the pumpkin rabbit and the witch sheep scream in agony, they are finally consumed by the consequences of their own crimes. Burning the photo album released the trapped souls from their prison and from the Waterman's control, granting them the chance to finally get revenge. And more than that, the album had also been the very thing keeping Lorenzo and Rachel tethered to this world, because they too were inside it. With its destruction, their cursed existence came to an end. Jay and Dino, covered in dust and blood, hold each other in silence, emotionally wrecked by everything they've just lived through. After some time, a door creaks open, flooding the room with light. It's Officer M, Jay's father, who, after hours and hours of searching, finally finds his daughter and the only friend she has left. Jay and Dino slowly get to their feet and step out of the room. The nightmare is over. The little puppy, still trying to process the night they just survived, turns around for a moment, taking one last look. What she sees are the Waterman mannequins. The mannequins that once represented the missing children are gone. Their souls have been freed, and now it's the Watermans who are trapped in a kind of limbo from which they'll never escape. The two children are taken away in the officer's patrol car, slowly leaving behind that horrifying place. And though the town once watched those monsters burn in the fires of hell, the aftermath of their crimes still lingers, like an open wound that has yet to heal. Because Nash Lake doesn't just carry a dark past, it carries a lingering echo of evil that refuses to be forgotten. As the car drives off, the spirits of Ralph and Paco appear between the trees, smiling as they watch their friends escape. Jay's father glances at her through the rearview mirror with deep concern, while she, her face exhausted and her soul scarred, closes her eyes in quiet sorrow. And so, with one final shot of the very same carved pumpkin where it all began, now rotting and decayed, the story comes to a close, the light fades, and the nightmare ends. Alright, that's all for today. I truly hope you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed making it. That said, feel free to share your thoughts in the comments. You know I love reading them. If you want to see more videos like this, don't forget to support this one as much as possible and share it with as many people as you can. Also, make sure to follow me on my other social media platforms where I post exclusive short content you won't find here on YouTube. And most importantly, a huge shout out to the channel members. Thank you all so much. If you'd like to become a member, just click the join button next to the subscribe button to unlock tons of perks and exclusive emojis while supporting me. If you're interested, join in. I'll be forever grateful. And remember, this video was made by a cat, and cats can't talk. Thanks for watching. Take care, and I'll see you next week with a brand new Angel Engine video.